Welcome back then people, here we are back at Labyrinth. Now I've just shown you around the swim and it may look vaguely familiar to some of you. Sorry, a fish just jumped out behind the camera. That is because we're back in Hoggles. Now I came out third in the draw. It was all a little bit tense, we'd seen fish all the way around the lake, but the wind was trickling here again and this was my first choice. I don't really like going in the same peg all the time. I like to fish all around the lake. But it just looks so good in here, and we saw some big fish under the snags again, and it all just looks exactly like it was last time I came, including how hot it is. It's absolutely scorching today. It's just starting to cool off for the evening, starting to enjoy the day. I'm going to have a beer in a minute, just the one, and chill out for the evening because we're all knackered. I think everyone's settled in. Bernard's back in his old peg on the riverbank. Big Pun is in Deadman's. Georgie Norris is on La Plage, the beach, sitting there in full sunshine. I can see Paul Newman over in Redwood, and I can see Peter Cox, the gaffer. He is in the Rock. He was in another swim, decided to move. So he's only been here an hour and he's moved already. Bernard set up in the wrong swim, then realised he was in the wrong swim, so we moved him to the next swim down. But I think everyone's settled in. I'm not expecting anything to happen so quickly, but saying that, there's a lot of fish showing today. A lot of the fish that have been put in, the stockfish, seem to be crashing around. And when I went out in the boat and had a little look around, I think they went straight down on the food as well, so I don't think it's going to be difficult getting a bite, but just need to get through to those bigger fish. Now the good news is, I didn't know this until I picked this peg, but when we was having the draw, John said that he'd seen the big leather in a couple of places, but specifically in one spot. So obviously none of us knew where that was because he didn't say. And then I drew this swim, Hoggles, and it turns out that he's been seeing the big leather in here quite a lot. Now, although that fills me with joy to think that the big leather is in here, I know how much these fish travel. And there is every possibility that somebody will catch it down the other end of the lake at some point. So just because I'm seeing them here doesn't always mean I'm going to catch them. Yes, they've got to come past me at some point, but when they're heading somewhere to feed, they'll go wherever they want to go. So it's first night, all settled, just about to put some burgers on, have a beer, chill out. If I can drag myself out of my bed, I will try and get the camera on in the morning, film a bit of the sunrise. Might have even had a fish by then. I'm quite confident, so we'll get set up properly, tie some more rigs tomorrow, have some breakfast, and we'll catch up again. So here we are then, first morning, Monday morning, back at Labyrinth. It's a view that I definitely like. It's going to be another hot day, unfortunately. And just like last year, the fish are all showing down the middle. I don't know if anyone's caught anything yet. You can see George Norris underneath that single tall tree down there in the middle of the shot. He's in the beach, he's seeing a few fish as well. He's getting loads of liners in the night. Probably us getting done like we always do here. Definitely saw one crash in front of Bernard again, just like last year. Bernard's fishing probably centre of the shot there. It's probably about 200 yards away from here. I'm bang on cue this morning. I see one jump pretty close to where he was fishing, so he normally gets a bite about 7-8 o'clock, so he's due one any time now. Loads of fish in this bay to my left last night. I could see the rings coming out, not to blind you with the sun. Loads of fish crashing out in that bay all night. Felt really confident on that rod. That middle rod is sort of in a nice safe area. It's not close to any snags at all. It's just I've baited away from the snags. I saw quite a few carp in there last night, so I'm confident on that. I have this sneaking feeling that all the rods have done a few bleeps and I bet there's nothing left out there. But I'm not going to move those rods because bite time in this swim seems to be either in darkness or in the morning, right up until lunchtime as they come back in. So I will sit on my hands, just had some porridge for breakfast, and gonna enjoy a bit of the scenery for a while. And my phone's going mad, so maybe somebody has caught one. Right, we'll catch up in a bit. So, you can see there's some hard hook baits drying out in the sun. There's a lot of little roach and stuff in Labyrinth, and really soft baits probably won't survive until the morning, so I like to air dry a few of them. That's the HMV air drying. And those big ones at the back are something I've been using quite a lot through the winter back at Welly. Been using little paste wraps. So some of them have got a bottom bait inside, some of them have got a 15mm wafter. And I will talk you through exactly how I do that later on. Just show you some of the things that's going on today. First morning, I was up early doors and got the old pressure cooker on the go, cooking up some hemp. Already done some this morning. Love to have fresh hemp. Don't like bringing it all prepared, like doing it on the bank. Doesn't take long, takes about 12 minutes once the pressure cooker gets up to speed. Something I've always done. Got a few tigers in the bag there. There's been a few small fish caught this morning, just spoke to the guys. Cy Gascoigne's in the wind, or whatever it's called, or lichens, or lichens I think it is. He's had a couple of small ones. Paul over in Redwood just had a small one. Zach played a very clever card by not fishing last night. He just went out and baited up, put loads of bait out on the spots that he knows in the dugout, and woke up this morning feeling refreshed, and so there was fish all over him, so he'll be in for a few fish today. Clever thing to do. I'm certainly going to be baiting and not even having any rods out. I'm just going to put loads of food out at some points and try and let them come in and out of this bay. They're due to come back any time now. We're getting loads of liners. There is a lot of pike activity in the edge, so some of them could be from the pike. All looking very good. Everyone's seeing fish all the way down the lake. Bernard's had them all over him. George has seen him in front of him. Haven't spoke to Pete yet. Punner's seen him in front of him. So it's really good. All looking positive. Let's hope we can get a few of the big girls. So, Tuesday morning. Looks like it's going to be another scorching hot day. I think Big Pun has got one down in the Dead Man's channel. Could see his little light flashing on his alarm all the way from here. He ran out and played something. I'm assuming he's got one. Fish is showing bang on schedule again this morning. And they're showing all around, so I never had another bleep last night, but I did get a good night's sleep, which was good. It was looking really good in this bay. I really fancied my chances, but no, real quiet, real quiet. Not to worry, plenty of time yet. So, middle of the week, you may notice that I am in a different location. I am in an area called the Stumps, and I'm not alone. I have relocated into my good old mucker Louis swim, and there he is, the little T-bitch. Having a bit of a social because my swim has been getting quieter and quieter, and today I went round every known bush where the carp should be, and there wasn't a single one to be seen. They're all down here. So Louis kindly said I can relocate to have a social with him, and yeah, something just swelled out there. And yeah, we're gonna have a go on the river tomorrow. It's where the river's right behind us. I've been and prepped it with some tigers and some giant snowberry boilies. My other mucker George Norris is hiding in the bushes over there. He's had a couple today. See his little red light over there, look. And yeah, he's had a couple of small fish. He's had a stocky and a 29. He's happy. So tonight I'm chewing the fat with Louis and just going to chill out and enjoy it, I think.
Hiya! Hi guys! Hi guys, we're here.
So tomorrow we might have to have a look at some of your rigs tomorrow on camera. Louis, how do you feel about that?
That's fine.
Yeah?
Check, yeah.
Okay.
Def rigs.
Yeah, have a look at those multiple def rigs we've got.
Yeah. The multi-choddy. We've got the multi-choddy on.
Right, so there you go. Here's a nice view of the stump swim. It's looking across to where John's caravan is. And then up to my right here is the climbing tree where Scott Phillips, the linear bailiff, is fishing. I think he's going to catch a few in there. There's quite a lot of fish to his right. So yeah, we'll catch up tomorrow and we are going to film some river action tomorrow. It's looking prime, so we're going to catch chub, catfish, probably a few snotties, and hopefully a carp. A 20-pound river carp would be a nice touch. Or a 60-pound river carp.
Yeah, 50, 40, any carp.
Any carp. Don't matter if it's got one eye and three fins.
Yeah, no lips.
We'll take it. Right, so we will see you. We'll see you when Louis catches a carp in a minute, or we'll see you in the morning when we talk about def rigs. So it's middle of the day and we're having to go on the river. It's all a bit quiet, so I just flicked the rod out into the main stream and my rod absolutely hoofed over, and I am attached to a very large, well, to a catfish, not a very large one, but a catfish. For a split second I thought it was a decent carp, but it's just a giant mogwai.
They go like stink.
And they stink like stink as well.
They stink like, yeah.
They stink like cack.
Yeah, mate, it's massive.
It's about 58, 59.
Look at the dirty little sucker.
A dirty little zwine that he is. Slimed up everything. Still got me bait though.
So you put a new one on.
There you go, mate. Right.
Drop off as well.
Right, here we go, people. This is what the river is full of. They're great fun in the daytime. You won't want to be catching them at night time. Where's that just come from?
Oh, that'll probably
Out the cat's bum?
yeah. Look at the slime on the rig.
Cilia. Lovely. Let's get him back.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, mate. Mwah. Have it. Well, here we are on Thursday. Finally got my strings pulled, and one of the most epic battles that you can imagine. And finally been paid off with was it nearly 51, 52?
51, yeah, 51.
Just over 51, 51.8. Lovely old mirror. What a scrap. Thank God I had some good old strong gear on. And there you have.
That is a ripper.
A 51.
Absolute stunner.
A 51 pound, well, 51 and 8, 51 pound 8. Caught on, that was actually on a Crenella bait. Put out loads of bait a little while ago, went and fished the river. Come back and I'll show you the other side. Lovely old fish in here, in good condition again. Such hard fighting fish. Yeah, I didn't put enough bait out last night, and I didn't want to make too much noise and disturb Louis' fishing. So today we said, well, I'll put a load more in, see how it goes. There's obviously quite a few fish down here. We mixed it up. Louis had quite a few in the night, and I sat on my hands and waited. I only put this rod back out, what, 20 minutes? Half an hour? A bit longer.
Yeah,
half an hour.
Half hour, max.
And it roared off while Louis was out in the boat. Come on, girl. I'll put you back, I promise. Yeah, lovely fish in here, these big ones. God, I didn't think I was going to land it at one stage.
That
there you go.
Pucker condition.
51 pounds, 8 ounces. Let's get her back. Let's have one last little look at her. There you go, 51.8. Thank you very, very much. Well, very early morning. Had a little bite on the sneaky rod down the margins down here. Had this lovely, looks about 35-ish common. So this was on the HMV on a little wafter after a few liners. Lovely big typical Labyrinth common, and he's just about to go mad. So yeah. So a few minutes after putting back that mid 30 common we saw a minute ago, the other rod roared off, and this 38 very long, lean, angry male turned up. Look how long it is. The size of its fins, it's obscene. Again, this was on a HMV wafter over a bit of Crenella and HMV. So yeah, we'll go and slip her back. It's going well this morning. Right, let's let the old boy go. I think he is a boy. Let's have one last look at the other side. God, how long it is. That girl's so big. There you go. No wonder they scrap with fins like that. Let's let her go. Oh, him. Yeah, he's very keen to get back to his summer shenanigans. Off he goes. Come on, son. Get in there. So, I've moved again. I spent a couple of nights down with Louis in the stumps because this area was completely void of fish. It was hot when I packed down, it was hot when I reset up over there. Today I've come back, the wind swung back in here, and I want Louis to have his swim back because I caught a really nice fish from the side of his swim, and there's still some really big fish down, and I really want Louis to catch one. It was a very kind thing that he did by letting me go in his swim. Not many people would do that, so Louis, I'm very grateful. So I came back down here today. I didn't see loads of carp up here, but I promised Louis if I saw a couple up here, I would move back in here. So I did see 6 or 7 fish underneath the trees, one real good one. So I'm going to set my bivvy back up again. I've got far too much kit, as usual when I come to France, but it doesn't matter how much kit you've got and how awful it is to move and how hot it is. When you need to move, you need to move. Let's get the gear set back up again. It is very early, but got a lovely common, big frame fish, big tail. It just fits in my mat. These fish done half ruck. Excuse me. fish. What a lovely, 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 lovely carp. 47 pounds. And let's just show you. I'm going to take some stills. There you go, 47. Absolutely wicked Labyrinth common. Hardest fighting fish I've ever caught. Yeah, really weird bite, weird fight. HMV again. Absolutely loving this bait at the moment. So it's producing fish like this. Result. Right, let's get a few shots, get her back. Epic. So I just wanted to go over a few points to make your trip a little bit more enjoyable, a bit more comfortable. A couple of things you might need when you're at Labyrinth throughout the warmer months. The one thing that we've all noticed this week is the mozzies have turned up this week. So it's, was it May the 12th or whatever it is? Yeah, May the 12th today. At the start of the week the mozzies weren't very bad, and by the end of the week the mozzies have really picked up. So if you're one of those people that gets annoyed by the mosquitoes and, you know, swell up when you get bitten, make sure you bring your stuff with you. Some mozzie coils. The guys have given me some mozzie spray. They've all had the same issue around the lake. They've been bitten to death. So bring some spray, bring some mozzie coils, and some ant powder. The ants they're not a major problem, but they are in every single swim. Now Bernard's been played with them over there. They've been in his food bags. So we put a ring of ant powder around your bivvy, and that definitely stops them coming in. The second we did that, the ants weren't a problem. So do bring ant powder, do bring your mozzie stuff. Couple of other things. Your food. There's obviously fridges dotted around the lake. There's freezers to put your stuff in and keep your bait in. It's not that difficult to bring really good food here and look after it. I'm really lucky here in this swim. There's some new facilities just around the corner. It's a perfectly good freezer, it's a toilet, shower. You're really well catered for here, so there's no reason to live off pot noodles and slum it. Fish care. John is talking about getting some new unhooking mats so that you don't have to bring yours here, because these fish are huge. They're some of the longest fish you'll see, and you do need a big mat. And John was saying to me yesterday that people still turn up here with really small unhooking mats, and he has to supply them with something because it's just not man enough. So bear that in mind. These fish are big. The ground is very rocky and bony around the place. You do want to look after these fish. And the other thing is, whilst it's warm like this, I've put a fish back this morning and it swam around in a giant circle and it's just sat in the weed. So don't just tip your fish back and just think that they're going to swim off and be fine. Make sure you hold them in the water for a while before they actually go, just to make sure they are absolutely fine. I've been in and sort of kept hold of this fish, and I've just got it down there in a piece of weed. It's absolutely fine. It's just sitting there chilling out. I'm keeping a close eye on it. Do look after these fish. They are big, they are old, and they do need looking after. I don't really want to go over rigs again because I went over rigs in part 1. All I will say is just beef up your gear. Even since we made the last film a year ago, John was saying that people are turning up and they're still using like 12-pound line, 15-pound line, trying to fish up against trees and stuff, and they're not even getting out the bivvy before it's locked up and cut off. So beef up your gear. We've all brought braid. I think Lou is on mono, but he's on very heavy mono and a very tough mono. We've all brought braid, and we've had some epic battles, and we've managed to land the majority of the fish. We have lost a few. I've never left a rig in a fish, but I have had a hook pull in a tree. And Zach has lost a couple around a metal structure in the dugout. The dugout's got some awkward things around the corner from it, and he's used real beefed up gear, and he's done ever so well to get the fish out, but he has lost a couple. I think he's lost 2, so bear that in mind. Hook sizes, we've all been using 4s and 2s. I said before that you don't really want to use anything smaller than that. These carp have got huge mouths, and you're hitting and holding. You don't want to be coming here with small hooks. I found a rig today next to my bivvy, and it was pathetic. It was pathetic. It must have had like a size 8 hook on it and was made out of about 20-pound braid. I should think that would have parted on the take. If people are coming here and using that, you're in for a lot of lost fish, and I just don't think there's any need for that. You've really just got to step up your gear. The fish are clever around rigs. You do have to think about where you're dropping your rigs. If you put it slap bang in the middle of a gravel spot, they'll suss it straight away. So just think carefully about your location. The fish have been held up in the corners. There's very little weed this year. We've seen them all around the edges. They're to my right, they're to my left. The majority of the fish have been down in like the lichens and down in the stumps. This morning they're out in front of the beaches. They're in all the nooks and crannies, and that's where you have to fish for them. You know, I'm not saying they stay there all the time, but that's where it seems to be. I'm sure that the weed will grow this year and the fish will get back out into open water. Bait wise, we've been using a mixture of everything. We've brought a lot of crenella between us. We've brought the new HNV. We've brought a bit of particle, and we've brought a bit of pellet, and that's been a really good thing because the roach don't seem to be a problem, and by having a few smaller items in amongst your mix, it seems to hold the fish in your area for a bit longer. We've all noticed that. It makes them work the spots a little bit more. They seem your polished areas seem to get bigger and bigger and bigger as the week goes on, and the fish definitely love it. So just bring a little bit of everything. No one's gone mad with the bait. I hear stories of people putting out 40 kilos of boilies. I can't see the point of that personally, because I just don't think it's not hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of carp. It's not an absolute runs factory where you're trying to hold loads of fish. You're probably trying to keep 5-6 fish in your swim at a time because they're so well spread out. John's been dead good. He's been around making sure we're all okay. He's given us loads of advice. Listen to what the man says. He does know the water inside out. He is trying to catch you fish, and if he comes and tells you you're fishing in a place which isn't safe to fish, then reel in and move it because it isn't safe to fish. He just wants to see you land your fish and make sure you're not leaving rigs and all of his fish. Right, so we're still in with Zach in the dugout swim, and we've just been talking about how to safely extract the fish from what is one of the most technically sort of demanding swims on the lake. Really, it puts a lot of people off according to John, but it is renowned for producing really big fish. So I just asked Zach how he's gone about making sure he's fishing nice and safely. He's obviously got, let's start off with your braid, Zach. What sort of pound braid is that?
We've got the 20 pound quarter sub braid, which, to be perfectly honest, is a lot stronger than 20 pound. It
is strong, isn't it?
You could pull a barge out really. At the end of that, I've got a shock leader. Started off with a 45 pound shock leader, but I had one fish which was 47.3.
Yeah.
And then straight afterwards, within 2 hours, had lost 2 more. Basically from the snags that were over there, they knew exactly where they were going, headed right. As Gav's already pointed out, there's a load of metalwork and stanchions down to the right. Basically it cut like cotton, the 45 pound. So I've now upped it to a 65 pound quarter snag leader, which, touch wood, so far has worked. That's about 4 metres long.
Yeah.
To the end of that, there's about 1 metre of Nash limpet, simply for the fact that I'm not particularly keen on leg core, that it's not supple enough, especially in these sort of swims where there's a lot of debris, branches, etc. on the bottom. It doesn't lie flat enough for me at the bottom. So, and that's a 65 pound Nash limpet.
So I mean, to a lot of people that sounds like extraordinary elephant tackle, but here it's absolute must, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's not undergunned at all. It's not overgunned. It's exactly what you need. We've all agreed that you can't. I mean, we said it loads of times on the other video. You can't just turn up here with your normal UK setup and think that you're going to land them, because you wouldn't land a single fish in this swim. No. Not a single fish.
No, definitely not. Probably the open water swims, dredgers.
Where Bernard is, and then like Gremlins and the riverbank.
Where you haven't got to concern yourself with too much debris.
Yeah.
Okay, there are bars, etc. out there, and there's a lot of weed in the lake, but
it's not snag locked up fishing, is it? So just show the people. We just saw how tight you've got your clutches there. I said, have you got any give in it at all? Now Zach's quite a strong bloke, and he has got his reels quite literally. Look, he's struggling. He can't pull in line. He's on lockdown. So it will give one tick of line before something explodes. But the other point of note is that Zach has got his bivvy literally behind these rod butts. So the second his rod makes any bleep, he's got a little tiny bit of give in the bobbin to let him know that something's on the end. He's obviously watching his rod tips, and the second that rod bleeps, he's out of his bed, or ideally sat in between his rods, and he's straight on it. And now I see loads of people here snag fishing, but they're having a beer with their mates in the next peg, and even if you lock down your rods and everything's great, if you're not sat anywhere near your rods, either you're going to lose a rod, and people do lose rods here. So just bear that in mind. Zach is very good at snag fishing. He knows exactly how to do it. He's got the right gear. His rods aren't going anywhere, and he never ever goes any further than he has to away from these rods. And when bite time comes, he is sat right out here with them. So if you're going to turn up and fish Labby, make sure that you are doing all of these things. It's quite an art to do it, and you do need the right gear. So if you're not confident doing that, pick one of the river swims. They will do fish. If you're after a beast, this dugout swim is a good one if fished really well. So in typical French fashion, we've waited for the weather all week. They promised us rain on Wednesday, Thursday or Friday, and obviously it never turned up. It's been stifling hot and hardly a ripple on the surface. We're getting to the last evening. We've all made our last cast, or rowed out for the last time. And sure enough, the rain has turned up, just to soak us when we're packing up. I fear it's a little bit too late, but I suppose we can hardly complain really. We've had a good week. As a group we're certainly on over 40 fish. A good handful of big fish, and there is still tonight to go, so anything can happen here. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been nice to bring some of my mates. I've had a few new guys. I've had Scott Phillips, the linear bailiff, he's come. He's had a really good time, he's had a PB. He's fished really well, he's moved, he's done everything he's supposed to, he's learned how to use a boat. We're all really proud of Scott, he's done well. You can hear the thunder in the background. George Norris, his first time abroad, after 20 years of asking. He's come, he worked hard to get here, did a lot of overtime, fished his little socks off, and he's going over a PB of £65, so thoroughly deserved, really pleased for him. It's always nice to see your mates get a real chunk. It's nice to catch him yourself, but it is great to see the guys with some grappling with some of these big fish. Zach's had a lovely 65. Zach does well wherever he goes. He's a phenomenal angler. And I'm glad he sort of joined us really. Got a good knowledge of bait, fishes a lot of venues all around the world. He is definitely one of the best I've seen. Lou has been great company, Bernard's been great company. Haven't seen much of Pete the Gaffer. He's been over in Rodeer Bay drinking plenty of red wine. But he's had a 40 pounder, he's had to work for his fishing this week. And old Punner's been catching well down in the channel. So yeah, it's been a great week. We've all learnt a lot. We're all definitely going to come back again. We're all praying for one last whacker. So we'll either see you in the morning, or hopefully we'll see you in the small hours with a dirty great 75 pounder.
Right then, George. As soon as you got me out of my pit, you better tell the folks at home what you've got, buddy.
£65.5.
Get in there, son. Well earned. Yeah. Look at that for a fish. Absolute peach. What a beauty. The smile on your face says it all, mate. Good skills, my son. Well done. Fair play. What an absolute peach. That has got to be one of the top 10, hasn't it? She said thank you very much. As much as it's been nice seeing you, I'm out of here. Good old boy, George.